Now, today you're probably asking the block, what the heck is the block video? But this right here, as you'll see, I'll put a picture, but this is the block. This is where I start quite a few of my projects. I make this block or something very similar to it. I modify it a little bit. That's what we'll talk about, is what I do to this to make these other projects. This is the block that I'm referring to. So yeah, I'll have Mary come in. As you can see, it's just cut both ways. If you're familiar with blacksmithing and things like that, quite a while ago, a lot of guys come out with the Friedrich's cross. It was a bar and it's cut one way, cut the other way, just like this, but the lines overlap, and you unfolded it into a cross. You hammer it flat. Okay, years ago I did the same thing. I didn't have a reason to build a bunch of the crosses, but I was playing around with the idea of it. I built a few and gave them out. But also, if you do the same process and don't overlap your cuts, you can make a plus sign, a cross, a fold, with a lot of material in the middle. So you make it's a plus sign. That led to a whole bunch of different things for me that I'm going to share with you. So, first thing we'll do, I'll teach you how to make this block real quick, and we're going to use the modeling clay. This is a modeling clay. It stays pretty stiff, but it never gets real hard, never quite hardened. So the first thing you can do is you're going to cut in from one side, right? If you were making now this one is a 7/8 block. 7/8 square is what it started as. I'm 1 inch deep. I'm a 1/2 inch space from this cut to the next cut, which would be the other way. I'm a 1/2 inch, and I'll explain why, but I'm a 1/2 inch. I'm cut from both sides, opposite sides, okay? And my lines in the middle, I realize this is clay. Okay, so now what you're going to do is, once you got it cut, and however you cut these is up to you, of course, on your forging stuff. If you want to heat it up and hot cut it, go ahead. If you want to use your hacksaw, go ahead. If you don't want to use any power tools and you want to go out in the dirt and forge it and cut it and do all your stuff, awesome. Here's your block. This distance is what's important. From this cut to this cut, I want material in the middle. If you're making the cross, you overlap your lines. When you unfold it, it makes a diamond shape in the middle. I don't need a hole in the middle. I'm looking to move material. So as you get your folders out, and you got this up and you're pushing these open, right? You got it in your vise, you got it in your treadle hammer, you got it wherever you got it. You're going to push these down. You always want to fuller out your hot cut lines so you don't get your cold shunts down in these bottoms. Okay? Now what you've done is you've pushed material to where you can use it. And by use it, I mean you've got material that is totally usable. Now you just have to change the way you think about this and say, well, what the heck is it? Like, what are you going to do with this? You know, you make them sculpture or something like that. But what you're doing is creating the material for the next processes, which is what my next videos are going to be, is what I do with this block. This block, simply like this, with different spacing in the middle, is what I use to make the dragon. Not only the dragon, but several other projects. This dragon is made out of this block. These are the wings. This is the head. This is the base. Now do you see it? Those of you that make a hummingbird, this is the first steps for my style of a one-piece hummingbird. This is a block I use that I save to look back on to see what steps I want to take. Same block, same process. Now if you look at it, if you got a little imagination, that's where you're going to be forging your tail. All I've done is fullered in one of these blocks, these edges. But I have the material where I want it. The head is over here. I fullered it in. I can draw this down and make his little beak. I can cut these thinner, but these are the wings. Now, the body shape is great for a hummingbird. That's how they pose. The material that's still here, now this can be his body, but you'll notice this one's a little thin. If you look at his belly, the belly's has the fuller mark from this. Okay? That's where you can play with the amount of material between your cuts. If I know that I want this body to be heavier, I leave more between the cuts. That way when I unfold it, I have the tail, I have the head, I have a mass for the body, and then I have my wings. Now, if I was building a dragonfly, which I'm going to build videos that refer back to this block. That's why I'm making this block video. If I'm doing the dragonfly, I know I want mass here. And I'm going to push this up and this up even farther because the dragonfly isn't bent like that. He's straight across. And you have the material. This is only a process to get the material where you need it to do your forging process. So I would leave the center bigger, creating more body in the middle. Okay? And then I would actually continue and flatten these, push these up. And then I would have the material for the whole body for the dragonfly. I also have plenty of material for the wings. Now, when you do this, see, I would cut down these and give myself the 4 wings for my dragonfly, which I'll show you when I build my dragonfly video from the block. Okay? But looking at this, I stopped and saved it because I saw multiple creations, I guess you could say, that I could make out of this fold. That's why I've had this here for so long, is I save it because I see a face. I see horns. I see, the dragon. I forged down the one end of this and then I twisted. So like this mass that's here, I twisted it this way and cut my dragon's head in so that I could get this whole face out of the end of one of these blocks, sections. Okay, you can leave it attached. This is the material that this whole thing was cut out of. Okay, all you have to do on that is drop forge it. All you have to do on that, if you want it to stay attached to your bar, is when you make these cuts, off of your bar, you can, if you're hot cutting it, you can cut over and then just cut up and your bar is still here. Or if you make one initial cut in here and bend this, open this, you can then come in and make this cut with your hacksaw or anything, and then this back piece of material is still attached to the bar, like this one is. This is the back piece of one of those still left onto the bar. Okay, it just depends on your project. Depends on where you need your material for what you want to build. But I always start with this block. Now, that being said, there's a couple ways when you're cutting the block, if you know what you're building. If you already got an idea what you're building and you don't need this much mass, say for wings, or, which I'll show you in a minute, for ears. You can, when you cut this block, when you're cutting this one, or this one, whichever one, come in and make these thinner. You can take and, make your cuts here and here and knock out this whole centerpiece, and now you have these thinner pieces to bring out, and the centerpiece you can cut or chisel out. You might even find another use for it. It can still be attached to the same bar if you cut carefully or chisel carefully, however you're going to do it. But now you got thinner pieces up here. And like I said, that's if you know you're going to build wings and you don't need all this mass, you can do that. And then it gave me the idea that you can twist this material. Of course, you can do anything you want with it. That's the beauty of it. This is a little difficult to see. It's dirty. I put it in the vise. I made this gopher. Just kidding. Made this elephant out of this block. Okay, and I'll show my process in the video of building an elephant. This is out of that block. The same one right here. I cut because I knew I wanted a little thinner material for my ears. I didn't need this much mass. So I cut this thinner and was able to take these and I twisted them. I made some cuts, but I twisted them, as you will see. And just by making a couple of twists, because I have the material available, now you can see, right? Got an elephant. I got spots for the eyes. I have the material from this block. I also have the material, as you see, if you push these down and if you're forging them down and out, you'll see what I meant by I have the material still here for a whole body of, say it was the dragonfly, the bird, right? I got material back here for a big tail. I got material up here now for a head. It doesn't matter whatever you want to build, but you can change this thickness. You can change all of these. These can all be fullered. They can all be pushed. They can be forged. Okay, so I took all of this design that I've been playing with. I took these pieces. I look at these pieces and I'm like, all right, I have the material. I got to figure out how to move it, how to twist it, and how I want it to appear, but I have the material now in the right place. I mean, look at that. That's out of a bar. You can see it. You see a dragonfly. You see, the hummingbird has his pose and his long beak, right? The vulture, the whatever you want. I'm going to refer back to this block video as I go and build these other projects. The twisting it, making the top thinner. I'll show you the new one. This is one that I will show you how to do in the video. Pretty good looking jackrabbit, right? Thought it came out great. The material from this process is where I needed it to make this face. I'll show you some, but as you can tell from this, it is this block. So again, I just wanted to explain to you how to make this block. Wanted to get you going. I'll refer back to this video because I'm going to say in the other videos that, hey, today we're building, I'm forging whatever it is, the dragon, the butterfly, the all kinds, and I'm going to be starting. It's kind of a project of mine, one piece things. Right now, I'll be starting with this block. So that's how you make the block. That's how you get the material. You're really going to have to play with it on your own. And if you decide what you're building, you can manipulate this to move that material so that you have what you need to forge what you're making. So that's the block. There's Yertle the turtle. Thank you very much, those of you that have watched the turtle video. I've had a whole bunch watch it. Yertle approves of the block. The turtle was made out of the process of this block by only doing half of it and leaving the part for the shell. That's where this came from also. We thought, wow, if we leave the top, I can rivet it down like a shell and make the turtle. Made them out of railroad spike heads, made them out of all kinds of stuff. This is what I wanted as a one piece. So, Yertle approves, thinks it's pretty cool. Thanks again for watching these. Thank you for watching this one. And stay with us to see all the many things we can turn this into. It's going to be pretty cool. I got some neat ideas. I've already started some neat ideas. These two, like I said, are already out of it. And hopefully this is something you want to try. I'm doing these so that you can learn what I'm doing and that you can try it with whatever processes you have, whatever tools you have. If you got a hole in the ground forge, if you got your torch, if you got whatever you got. So hopefully you just follow the process, come with us, let's build some cool stuff. So let's go and thank you.